Good evening, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
What's
Yes,
happening?
yes, it is a
Oh my
show.
God, there's
damn.
3 of us.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Ha ha.
Out of
Yeah, you're gonna be
rhythm,
the.
3 people. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here with Jamie. We're also here with Donovan. This is like the second Thursday in the last couple weeks we've done this. This is Thirsty Thursday, boys. What are you sipping on there? I got me some Prisoner Pinot Noir wine.
um,
I go with the Schlitz,
No, my
Schlitz,
soul's
huh?
hungry.
straight out of
Nice
Milwaukee.
call. Nice
Well,
call.
yeah. Well. You know me. I always go for the hard stuff. Damn
Don Julio.
right.
Oh, he brought the Don Julio.
Damn right. Alrighty. Cheers, mother.
Oh,
Mm, mm.
it's good to be
Ooh.
back with you boys. Damn.
Yeah, it is. So I
We all
actually messed.
survived.
So I actually messed up on my tight end graphic, but oh well, whatever. It is what it is.
There was a hey, there was a blizzard today. Everybody gets a pass. And apparently,
Yeah.
Donovan's kids over there. What happened with your kids over there? They were kind of making a ruckus today.
Yeah, they're all cranked up on Fortnite and sugar. So
Yeah, that will do her, man. That's for damn sure. I know it's pretty chilly up here. I was telling Eli too. I was like, man, I was actually in the backyard moving snow around here just probably about an hour ago. So I'm like, yep, screw this. So I was moving snow around the back because the wife needed to be able to get out for work and everything. We had some guy come by and push snow in the alleyway. I had to get that all moved out and whatnot. So yeah, it was quite of a fun day. Mm.
So
But
wait,
yeah,
he put it in your guys's like parking lot or your alley? Like this kind of a dick
no,
move.
no, the alleyway, it just piles up, so it's just like a big old drift. So you have to go by and clean it up and
Yeah.
whatnot. That's what the city does, anyways.
Oh,
The city
I
they
thought
just
they.
grade it and nope, nope, nope. But everybody's wondering what is going on today. Well, since it's Thursday, it was Thursday. I already had my shot, so I'm good. But yeah, we're gonna do little tight ends, and we're gonna do a little baseball mix. So it's gonna be a little. It's gonna, it's kind of an intertwine, man. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so we were
It's like
talking about tight ends,
what's that Van Halen album? The best of both worlds. I
right?
also heard that. I also heard that I also heard that from a Minneapolis trainee that tried to get with me one time, but I said I don't no offense, I don't swing that way. I'm gonna have to go this way and not two ways if you catch my drift. But baseball and tight end. It's a natural transition. Baseball, tight ends.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm looking forward to both actually.
and we kind of got out of hand here right away because Eli just kind of went off the walls, and we got to make sure we get people to join that Discord. It's I want it to grow. It's just one of those things we want to do. We want that server to get into millions and millions of people. I don't know. I just want it to grow.
all right, we'll go with million.
Yeah, let's reach a million people in the server. Maybe that could be the most. I don't know. Who really knows? But Eli over there, it seems like he kind of freezing up, and I think his computer needs to be rebooted.
I can't tell on my end. Think it's I don't know. Maybe I'll start. Eli loves tight. I do. I'm a huge fan of tight ends. This isn't a secret here. And maybe I'll start making frozen faces. Maybe I'll be like a mime. Just there we go. Yeah, Jamie gets the Discord in there. I'm freezing up apparently. We all got our drinks in, and we forgot to mention Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're on a bunch of different platforms now. We're moving up in the world. Proud of everybody.
Damn right.
Damn it.
Damn right we are. There was one guy in the Discord who was like, "Oh, you're not."
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, I was just saying, there was one guy in the Discord who was like, "You guys are not on Google." I'm like, "Well, hey, to make you happy, I'll get on Google so you can listen to our podcast." So I'm like, "All right, I'll get her done." So that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah. Uh, little too late, some might say, but better later than never. And I was gonna say, is Donovan Rocket? Is that a Purdue hat?
No, this is
See a
not.
P
This
on
is
top of there.
it's a Prospect One hat. So
Oh, nice.
it's,
You know, I'm rocking that.
podcast.
I'm rocking that nice spring training Cubs hat. So I actually might try to get myself
Cubbies!
another. Yep, I actually might get myself another spring training ball cap. So I'm not sure yet. I think I might get another one. I like these. They're pretty dope. I think they should be using they should be using this logo a little bit more often. I like this one. The rest of it's kind of garbage. That's just me.
Yeah, it's a basic bitch looking C. You know how many other sports team, the Bears, the Reds, you know, I love that blue bear, the blue bear with the red nose. I mean,
Yep.
he's cute, he's intimidating, he's cute, he's snuggly, a little bit of everything. And the Cubbies, you know what? With as many bad teams, and we'll get to baseball here in a second, as many bad teams as there are in the NL Central, I don't see why the Cubbies can't finish in second. I don't see why they can't jump the Cardinals. You know, Brewers are probably going to win that division, but the Cubbies could get in wild card spot.
Are we getting back to a little Back to the
calling
Future?
it right now.
You know,
I'm calling it right now. Cubbies are in the playoff 2023. Damn it, it's gonna happen.
Wow. Whenever I see the Bears, the little cub, all I can think of is Charmin toilet paper, and that comes from a Brewers fan. So.
Oh, ouch, ouch! That's crazy. Ouch! Oh, ooh, that's pretty hurtful right there, man.
Yeah.
I forgot my towel. I forgot the towel he does when he does the shush Charmin.
Oh yeah,
The little dance he does.
a little shimmy action.
Good gravy. No, I know. I was just thinking of. I was thinking of a little Back to the Future here when when the Cubbies when the World Series kind of had a flashback on that. So
Yeah.
it's I love that Back to the Future stuff, man. It sucks that they can't get another movie going because the guy doesn't want to ruin the franchise. So it is what it is.
No, dude. I'm glad they don't touch that. I don't want them touching Back to the Future. I don't want them touching Scarface. You know, any of the classics. Stay the hell away. If you want to remake Batman 50 million times, go for it. But any of the classic stuff, just stay away. Stay away. Got me all worked up now. I'm thinking about the Cubs and Charmin Bears and all confuzzled here.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what to talk about now. Jeez.
Well, I mean, I guess we were supposed to talk about football.
You know what? I'm gonna get the wine bottle. You guys keep talking.
you do that. So I think we'll just kind of get into all this nice. I don't know if I know I kind of did some rankings. I know I'm not. I know I didn't ask you to do any rankings, but you can kind of chime in too.
Yeah.
I mean, this was kind of a quick. I mean, Eli can pop in on his afterwards. But I forgot to. I forgot to put in. I can't think of his name now. From Atlanta.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, so I forgot to put Pitts in here. I was just looking at Sleeper, and I was just kind of like, hey, I like this guy and this guy. And because I just know tight ends is kind of a wash. It's not the greatest. You got your few good, you got your few top guys. You got your Kelsey, so you got your Kelseys, Andrews, Kittles, Hawkinson, Goddard. Those are kind of your top five in my eyes. Well, Pitts would be probably up in here. Pitts would be in top five. Probably Goddard, Hawkinson, and probably bumped down a little bit. But Pitts had a kind of a rough season last year. I think he got injured, which kind of sucks there. But overall, you got your Kelseys. You got your Mark Andrews, who was kind of hurt, but I think there's going to be a surprise at my bottom 16. So I think there's going to be a little bit of difference which is going to be like what? But overall, I like Kelsey, Andrews is just just a PPR monster. Kittle's kind of the same way too. I just like their offense in a way. Kittle just if they don't get that run game going, it's Kittle is always good for those little small dump offs and curls route, those slants and whatnot. Hawkinson with him being traded. Actually, it seemed like it boosted his career just a little bit this after the kind of the second half of the season. Hawkinson was actually looking pretty damn good, which was pretty crazy in my eyes. And I like Goddard. Goddard's, he's always been, he's always been that kind of that top, five, top six tight end after, what's his name, went to the Cardinals. His career kind of took a jump.
That
But
hurts.
yeah, yep. But these are my top. Well, I like Ingram now. I think Ingram probably bumped down there a little bit. But
Would you put Pitts in place of Ingram?
I think I would go Pitts at 4, and then Hawkinson, Goddard. Yeah, yeah, that's probably where I put because Pitts is probably that last guy that's capable of actually getting those targets because there's no one there. So that's kind of where I'd put him in at. Well, Eli, what do you got, man? Because I think that kind of covers my top 6.
You ain't gonna like my list because I'm telling you right now, Zach Ertz ain't on it. Okay, I think he's shot. He's done. He's done.
You think he's done?
Yep, out of here.
Boy, poor team. You got a whole team in the coffin already.
Look right here, Jay. Look right here. Trey McBride. Trey McBride. Okay. So, Jamie said, like Jamie was saying, I'll piggyback on it. Like, come on now. Some of these mid-tier tight ends are averaging like 60 targets. So, we're not going to do a whole conference. There's not 32 of these guys to do. So, we just combined, the three of us, we combined them into, we 16 of 30. Hey, a little math here for you. What's half of 32 guys? 16. So, if you're in the better half of the tight ends, the guys who are going to be for sure drafted, no matter what league they're in. That's what we're doing here. So we're doing 1 to 16, and you know what? I'll do you guys a solid. I'm going to throw in 4 honorable mentions at the end too, because I'm a nice guy. We'll start off with Travis Kelce. What more needs to be said? Over 1,300 yards. The guy, I think he had over, if I wrote that down right, 152 targets. That's like, Michael Thomas from a couple years ago type numbers. This guy's a freaking tight end. 12 touchdowns, just an animal. And even at his advanced age, if 33 is old, but going
100, 150.
I'd still count 152 targets. Guy, I thought he might have taken a dip this year, not having the cheetah, and the Chiefs kind of rebuilt their offensive line last couple of years, so I wasn't sure what to expect. He was better than ever. He's the number 2 guy. This might be a little controversial, and I'll see what Donovan puts up. I know Jamie had him at 4, but I think Hawk is too. I think TJ Hawkinson and that Vikings offense, the way he was tearing it up towards the end of the year, he was second in targets, had almost 130 targets. So he's getting the looks. And I thought he was better in Minnesota than he was in Detroit. That midseason trade was great. And I already said that, I'm not a Vikings fan, but I'm already touting them for next year because of that Brian Flores hire on the defense and what they bring on the offense. The Vikings are going to be hell to reckon with. So Hawkeye, and a lot of my stuff is based on projections. And like Jay was saying, like when we get to the bottom end of this 16, you're going to see a lot of people like, whoa, holy, but maybe the top 10 will be interchangeable, but they'll all pretty much be about the same. But this is all projecting for the future, like what I see next year. And I think Hawkinson next year will be the second best tight end fantasy wise. Kittle, it's more of a, if he stays healthy, obviously he's right up there with Hawk, if not better. So Kittle, it comes down to health. He's still getting the targets and touchdowns when he's on the field. He's getting up there in age too. I think he's 30 or closing in. So Goddard, I like Dallas Goddard a lot. Another one of those guys. If he stays healthy, he'll be right in that mix with Hawk and Kittle. Like Goddard a lot. Some people might have him a little bit lower, but I like him more than like Mark Andrews because I think beginning next year, I think Isaiah likely is going to be worked in more into the offense, because I don't think they're going to want to pay Mark Andrews a big payday. I don't think you can. If they re-sign Lamar, I mean, Lamar's going to get guys. Lamar's probably going to be getting close to $50 million a year. So they can't. I mean,
Who
the Ravens
knows?
can't
Yeah.
pay everybody. They're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay Patrick Queen on the defense. A few other guys on offense that it slipped my mind, but I don't think you can pay Mark Andrews top dollar, because he's going to want like Kelsey money. He's not Kelsey. He never will be. I don't even think at this point. I don't think he's Hawk. I think Mark Andrews is damn good. I mean, I think there's a big drop off, and I'll get to Evan Ingram in a minute. I think a lot of him in that Jacksonville offense, but I think there's probably 6 or 7 tight ends that you can group into, like, okay, I can roll with these guys. I can move towards winning a fantasy championship with these guys. And Mark Andrews is one of the. I mean, when Mark Andrews is on, he's a beast. So I think those 5 are solid. I think we're all going to be, close to the same, just interchangeable. Also, but we'll see what Donovan's got. I drink some more of this wine.
Well, Donovan doesn't have any quite graphics, but it's just he can put his cents in right now. So I mean, it's.
I didn't take the time to send it over to Jamie. I was keeping a ace up my sleeve here. So
you're right.
I totally agree with Kelsey. I'm a sucker until he literally dies. He will be the number 1 tight end. He's in a tier by himself.
Put a stake in his heart. Make a stake in his heart like Dracula.
And a silver bullet in his brain. There's no other way around it. So until he's literally not breathing, he is the number 1 tight end in my.
I was seeing some mock here that somebody actually was taking Kelsey the first pick, first round. I'm like, what the? I can't remember if it was on Facebook or somewhere, and it was somebody was posting something that really took
a CBS mock, I think. Yeah,
it was some early. It was like some way too early mock, and I was not ready to comment. I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is the dumbest thing you could ever do. Drafting Kelsey in with your first pick, first round. I'm like, that's kind of dumb. It's no. There's just more.
I can see him being a first round pick, though. I mean, I could definitely. He's worth, to me. If he was there at number like 8 or 9, I'd snag him up. I mean, you don't have to worry. That's one position you don't have to worry. You can't take him in the top 5. I mean, that's fantasy suicide. But like, if you can get him 8 to 10, and he's there, you snatch him up, because that, to me, that's one position you don't have to worry about. He doesn't get hurt. He doesn't have off games. I mean, he's a goddamn machine. Every week, it's 90 yards and a touchdown. I mean,
most definitely.
It's like clockwork with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he will be drafted first round. It's just that he's not a first overall pick in my eyes.
Right.
With the first. No, I mean, there's far more. I mean, your quarterback. If you're a quarterback. Your quarterback's way more important. There's a couple more running backs that are. Would probably go ahead of him for sure. But I mean, overall, Kelsey is a first round. Depends on. He might be a second, maybe quite. Maybe a second rounder. Just it depends on the league size. It's and that all varies too.
Yeah, I took him 10th in a 12-team redraft last year, and he brought me home a pool of money. So we won the championship with him. So I mean, but much like you said, you can't take him in the top 5. That's
no, it's not.
But yeah, it worked out well. So
trading away Jalen Hurts.
Next, I would have the next tier. So it's tier 1 is Kelsey. Tier 2, I have Andrews. And there's a lot of variables that could happen. We are 1 year removed from Andrews having 153 targets. So it's there, but now Jackson's got to be there. They have a lot of things to work on yet with that team. And, he has to have the targets. But if they're feeding the man, he's not as good as Kelsey, but he's pretty dependable when he's there. After that, we start the little gumball machine up and mixing them all around, right? I think I agree with Eli that Hawkinson's move will resurrect him. We're again another guy. We're 2 years out of him being a top tier, you have to have type tight end. We had a couple bad years, and now we're, this could be it. I agree that I would be bold enough to put him up as my third over Goddard and Kittle. Kittle, he's going to miss 1 or 2 games a year. That's almost a guarantee at this point. Goddard, maybe he's inflated because of what we saw in the playoffs from him. He was catching everything. He was a fool out there. And then last rounding up, so it would be for me, Kelsey, Andrews, Hockenson, Goddard, Kittle, and then Pitts would be my number 6. And that's kind of a questionable one too, until we are proven that the hype is real. We see little spurts of it, but that's another team that it's doing him no favors right now in his projected superstardom. So I bought in on a ton of dynasty type leagues. I have Pitts in a lot of spots, and it's really the Pitts. So that would be my top 6.
Pitts is the shits.
Oh,
drum roll, please.
Hey.
Hey.
And you guys did 5, but I did 6 because I'm cool.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Eli. What?
Give a little extra to the people.
What's on your next?
Donovan's like damn Santa Claus.
So what's next on your list? Yeah, intrigue us, man? Come on.
Oh, you want me? Okay. 1 second here. Let's see what I got. What do I got?
Ooh.
Yeah, I do need. I do need a better connection, and that will happen next week. I guarantee you. There's going to be a $14 cable in my future. Yes, and if you want to donate one to me, if you feel sorry for me, I'll take that too. All right, so and we forgot about him because he was hurt a lot last year, but I mean, we can't forget how good Darren Waller's been.
Oh, yeah. See,
he's like Kelsey. He's like Kelsey in the opposite way, like until proven wrong, Kelsey he's gold until he's not. Darren Waller, until he's like, you put a stake in this guy's heart and he's out for the entire year, or he's whatever, he breaks his leg or tears an ACL, like some career debilitating injury. The guy's still young enough, still good enough. At one time, we had him as number 2 or number 3 tight end in the league. So I'm still going to put him because I think he's going to drop a little bit in the drafts. Ones that are mixed that aren't dynasty or the year-to-year leagues. I think he's going to drop, and I think he can get some great value for Darren Waller. Evan Ingram, love Evan Ingram. He's pretty much, him and Kirk are like the 2 most reliable targets for Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence is shooting through the roof. You guys know how highly I think of him. Ingram, and you can blame it. You can blame it partially on the Giants' offense because they were inept. I mean, I don't think it's all Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones proved himself this year that he's at least competent. He's not great, but Ingram didn't do much with the Giants, and so he signed a very favorable deal with the Jags, and now he's going to shoot through the moon. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a Pro Bowl tight end next year. Not all pro, he's not Kelsey's level, but Evan Ingram's damn good. Kyle Pitts, I still think, and Donovan had him at 6. I still think you got to put him there. He had one down year. The same thing with Jonathan Taylor. I'm not going to completely shit on this guy until I see 2 bad years. 1 bad year, I'll give you a sophomore slump kind of thing. But yeah, Pitts 2021 was dynamite. I mean, he was one of the best. He's the guy. Like, I know Jamie took him high in one of the leagues. I mean, he was the guy that everybody was touting. Like, this is a top 5 tight end kind of thing. David Njoku, that might be a little shocking right there. I put him at 9. I think when he's healthy, especially with working with Deshaun Watson for a full season next year. If they, I don't think they're going to keep Kareem Hunt, but I mean, with Nick Chubb and that offensive line, what's left of it, like, I don't see why Njoku, and then the receivers, other than Mari Cooper, like, who scares you? I mean, I don't see why David Njoku can't be the number 2 target with the Browns. And Deshaun Watson has proven again and again that he can throw over 4,500 yards. So I love to see what happens there with Njoku. I think he's going to have great value. I think people are going to sleep on him a little bit. And then number 10, I also like Juwan Johnson. Well, famously, 2 years ago, and me and Jamie's 12 man, I blew my load for the guy. But towards the end of the season, probably the last 4 or 5 games, he was probably a top 5 or 6 tight end. I mean, he was tearing it up towards the end of the year. And he gets a decent amount of targets. Michael Thomas won't be back. Chris Olave, I like him a lot, but I don't see why Juwan Johnson can't be the number 2 target for the Saints. Smith and some other number 3, 4 receivers, they don't scare you. Chris Olave is the clear-cut number 1 on that team, and I just don't see why Juwan can't be a touchdown guy. Kind of like Dawson Knox was for the Bills until he shit the bed. Maybe 7, 8 touchdown guy, and that's got value too. You don't have to put up 1,000 yards. If you can put up 600, 700 yards with 8 touchdowns, that's just as good. In my, at least in my book. I'll see what Jay and Donovan got to say, but
the bad thing about the Saints is that they couldn't figure out their quarterback situation. They couldn't figure out if it was Dalton or Winston, and then you had freaking
don't
Jason,
say that name.
But and that's the downfall about it. You got one tight end, one QB that likes tight ends, one QB that likes to just toss the damn ball. So one favors wide receivers, one favors more the tight ends, dump offs and stuff like that. But Juwan had at least 7 touchdowns. I know you blew your load. I was like, a couple of years ago on this guy, I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? All your $300, poof, out the door, and then you couldn't do.
I love this guy.
No, it was quite hilarious. So he saw 65 targets, which is not bad in that offense. They didn't really have anybody. Kamara was kind of off and on a little bit. I think he missed a couple of games for sure. They didn't have a whole lot of stability. Michael Thomas was supposed to be back, and he didn't even come back at all. So it's just like, he was 2 years gone from an ankle. So it's just like, dude, what the hell, dude? It wasn't that good. Other than that, I think Juwan Johnson will be, some of you draft kind of more the mid kind of the mid rounds if you're looking for somebody.
Yeah, you forgot about their other quarterback that is a tight end.
Yeah, Jason Taysom.
Oh, Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
guys, he had it was a great thing if you needed like a flex guy, or you needed if you're in a weird league and had 2 tight ends or a tight end as an option as a flex. There were some weeks Taysom Hill was a good play. There's probably 2 or 3 weeks you could have easily played Taysom. So, but I don't consider him a tight end, so I'm gonna give the nod to Juwan. But yeah, Taysom. We got. Yep. Go ahead.
No, that was my bad. I clicked on it. I clicked on something, so my bad. Yeah.
We're back.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. I'm just trying to get us more viewers. It's kind of going to get some people popped in, be like, oh, hey, so yeah, just one of those things.
Hey, guys, maybe I need to go shirtless again. maybe I need to go shirtless. Maybe that'll reel them in.
You can go ahead, Donovan. You can pitch, talk about your guys real quick, and then
sure. Yeah, no problem. So, right, I would have had my number 6 being Pitts, followed by Waller. So I agree with Eli that Waller's not dead yet. And then I have Ingram up there after Waller. Then I have Dallas Schultz. So I don't know. I just think the tight end's still a fairly important part in that offense. And then where are we at here? I don't have mine numbered. 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. So then 10, I have Pat Freiermuth, who we should see take some strides there too, if he can remain healthy.
Yeah, I like Freiermuth quite a bit. I've always been I was kind of a fan of him the year before, and this year was kind of one of those years where he kind of had a down year, just a smudge, not much, but he was still seeing the ball, seeing targets. I think he still had a few touchdowns as well, if I remember right.
he had concussions, right?
Yeah, that might have been it.
So he was seeing more than one ball, but
I was trying to figure out where he was stat wise and whatnot. Oh, so I mean, he was 6 overall with So I mean, he had like 700 some odd yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, yeah, for tight ends, tight ends don't really see a whole lot, especially if you're in that middle tier. You don't, maybe a few touchdowns here and there. I think he'll bump up next year. I think he'll at least see. I think he'll see 5 at least next year.
Yeah, that offense should come together.
I think so.
My concern about Dalton Schultz is the health. I mean, that's just another guy. Like I have him. Well, you guys will find out who I have in the 11 to 16, but I'm not that high on him. I don't think he's a starting level guy, but to me, he's not. I mean, there's a bunch of other guys you could throw in there, and yeah, go ahead, Jay. Yeah, but I'll get to my comment on Schultz. He's going to be later on, but.
Yeah, I got Mermuth at 7. I just think I like Mermuth at 7. Schultz, he was kind of hurt here and there too. But he's still in a good offense. I mean, he's actually still a good weapon that if Dallas needs to rely on, that they still got that weapon there. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns, which is great for a tight end. Because a lot of tight ends don't see a whole lot of touchdowns. I mean, to get 5-6 touchdowns. Being a tight end, I mean, that's great. That's great in my eyes. I mean, yeah, 89 targets. I'm sure he probably could have seen like a little bit more targets, but I like Schultz. I like Njoku too, just because he's, they don't have any really great wide receivers there, with the Browns, and Deshaun loves his tight ends, and so I just think that Njoku
I know he does. Yeah.
I got Crunklin up in there. These are guys I just think these are kind of more your, mid to, closer to your end guys. Crunklin is decent. I mean, he had a few good, decent weeks. I know that for sure because I had him in a couple. I had him for a couple weeks. He had 3 touchdowns, 500 and some odd yards. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these tight ends are averaging, either 500 to 600 some odd yards, unless you're a top tier guy like Kelsey. He was just reeling off 1,000 yards, all the time. But I got Higbee and Komet 11 and 12. Even though that some of these teams suck, they're still going to dump these balls off to some of these tight ends. If they don't get the run game going, or the pass game going, I mean, these guys are they're going to be a quarterback's favorite target. So when they get in trouble and whatnot. So, and Komet is not in a bad situation either. I mean, their wide receiver core with the Bears, not the greatest, but still, he's still going to get targets. He had 7 touchdowns, so I mean, it's not like wasn't being used.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts. I know you said beginning of the show, but yeah, Kyle Pitts has definitely got to be in that set. Because a lot of these guys, like we were saying, you get past probably the top 7 or 8, and these guys are, a lot of these guys are interchangeable. So I mean, Conklin for Schultz.
Yeah, and I forgot about Waller too. So yeah, and that was the other thing too.
These guys did it to themselves though, because I mean, in today's world, when we're all ADD and we've all got a short memory, like, I mean, 2021 seems like an eternity ago, but I mean, the first half of 2021, Darren Waller was right up there with Kelsey, right up there with Andrews and Kelsey, and then, we saw what happened. But yeah, I mean, it's a quick moving league. So maybe you're right. Freiermuth, I'll get into him in a second, but you have a little higher than I did, but I think the kid's got the goods. I've thought that since last year when he was a rookie in 2021, especially not working with Pickett now. I mean, that's gonna be a security blanket. Him, Pickens, and that damn bastard who's taken over for DJ Moore as the touchdownless receiver, Deontay Johnson. Higbee's solid. Like I said, he's another one of those interchangeable because he's solid. He gets a lot of targets. He doesn't, he's not spectacular, but he just chugs along. I mean, I could see him being even if Rams are good or bad. I mean, he was the starting tight end on a Super Bowl team, so I mean, he's capable of being just about anything you need him to be.
I mean, yeah, he had he had targeted 100. He had 108 targets, so I mean,
he did.
So, I mean, that's quite a bit for a tight end.
Yeah. Oh, Eli, my concern with as many targets as he did have. Jay, he had 108 targets, but only 620 yards. And you could blame some of that he was working with John Wooford, who sounds like a guy that works at a law firm. Wooford and Stenson
Baker
or something.
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. Yeah, just some of the scrubs he was working with. Yeah, I mean, Higbee's another guy's going to have some value next year in the if you're doing a year-to-year league. I mean, he's going to have another guy that people are sleeping on for sure.
Yeah, man.
Did Donovan do his 7 to 12 or his 6 to 10 or?
I went to 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to go with my last one, Jay?
Yep. Yeah, we can go with it. We can. What's
can I unveil it? Can I do it?
Do it. Go. Marty Mark said.
Can I do it?
Go. He's got to find the graphic. Is he gonna find it?
Oh, I know. I'm finding it.
Made for TV.
He's lagging. Why are you lagging? Stop lagging. There we go. We good.
I told Eli.
Immediately see a creepy spot on my camera. That's the best way to see me, Chad. That's probably one of my better looks. Might have to freeze frame that and throw it up on my Instagram here. Gerald Everett, I think yeah. I love you.
Insane.
I know. Gerald Everett at 11. I really like the fact that what I don't like is the fact that the Cowboys fired Kellen Moore. I think he's a damn good offensive coordinator. I like the fact that he's the best way to see you is after. Ooh, maybe a little bit of that too. Once you hit a play up after this show, big boy. But Gerald Everett, I like what's going to happen next year in that Los Angeles offense. Herbert, Eckler, all the boys, the receivers. Palmer and Mike Williams, all those boys. Gerald Everett, people are sleeping on him. I think he was solid in Seattle. He was damn good last year. I think he's going to be even better next year. A lot of this is projections, and these are interchangeable. We all agree on pretty much the top 7 or 8. Like these guys are the elite guys, and so now we're kind of throwing out names. And I like Jordan Akins from the Texans. I do. I think he was a rookie last year. I can see him taking another step, especially if he's working with Bryce Young. If the Texans take him at number 2, I don't see. That's a young quarterback's favorite thing is a big reliable tight end. I mean, Akins could put up another 7-8 touchdowns for sure. He reminds me a lot of Antonio Gates, from back in the day with the Chargers. Dulcich for the Broncos at times during the year, I liked what I saw from him a lot. I like the fact that Sean Payton's in Denver now, and Russ, he seems to be cracking down on some of Russ's bullshit. So I think the whole Denver offense is going to be substantially better. I think Dulcich is going to benefit from that because I think he'll be the number 1 tight end there. Pat Freiermuth, enough said. I mean, he could definitely be higher on my list. Great young tight end. Dawson Knox. If not for the tight ends, he'd be like number 27 on my list. I mean, this guy is garbage other than getting you a touchdown. He really is. He's trash. Dawson Knox, you are trash. I said it. I
don't know about trash.
You guys know how, especially he is. He's garbage. I could go down the list. Conklin, Schultz. There's a bunch of guys I didn't like. That damn Zach Ertz, who I said is dead in the ground. He's better. Knox he's good for touchdowns. That's it. Get you a random, like the week you bench him is the week that this guy will get a touchdown. And then Michael Maher from Notre Dame. I've been touting this guy. He's baby Gronk. He is an all around. He can do it all. He can block, catch, everything. He's got good hands. They've got him I've got it on the scroll at the bottom. They've got him below Kincaid from Utah from like the big board, but I think that's bullshit. I think he lands up, maybe with a New England, replaces Hunter Henry or something. Maybe with a Green Bay, gets to work with Jordan Love or Raj. So I can see him ending up in a good situation like that. I like Michael Mayer a lot, and I'm the first one to jump on it because a lot of guys they wouldn't know where to stick him if he even made their, So just kind of, you know what? I wasn't impressed with a lot of the other guys. I mean, I guess I could have put Dalton Schultz there, but I'll put Michael Mayer there.
I know I like the kid from Utah, so I mean, I think after the draft, I'm gonna revise a lot of my stuff too, and because I actually forgot I was kind of in a rush tonight a little bit because I was moving snow and whatnot after our nice little blizzard we had here and making sure everything's good to go, and I forgot all about the Waller, forgot about Pitts, See, I mean that shit happens, man. But yeah, I mean, I like, I kind of want to see where he goes, and I think Eli, I think you're gonna be surprised with who's on my last on my list here. You're gonna be like, what? No way.
Ooh, he's candy. Ooh.
Yep. Yes. So, I like Everett too. He's in a good situation.
Yep. He did it. He did
it. Yeah. So
Isaiah
I like Everett. Yep. I do like Likely. He's at the bottom of my list. He actually, he did have some good games, and I just seeing some of the Ravens games, he actually did look really, just some of his catches that were short. I mean, he was actually tearing it up. He would gain 10 to 12 yards on a pass. So it's like I think he could replace Mark Andrews for sure. And I kind of liked what I saw from him, and I was like, I think I picked him up somewhere. I can't remember exactly where in one of my teams, but I mean, I was liking what I was seeing on TV, and I was like, this guy could totally replace Mark Andrews in a hurry. And but
hot
I mean,
take.
other than
hot take.
Yep.
I think Donovan's going to come back, but hot take here, quick, Jay. I think if Baltimore is, if they're struggling 2-5, they go off to a slow start, I could see them shipping Mark Andrews out. I mean, I like Isaiah Likely too. I couldn't put. It's the same reason I couldn't put Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the same 16 for the AFC. Like I couldn't put two Ravens there, but I like Isaiah Likely a lot too. I think he could easily replace Andrews for half the price. So this is just a money thing. I mean, Mark Andrews is good, but yeah, you might be onto something here. I mean, Isaiah Likely could, if they ship Andrews out halfway through the year, which is very likely, no pun intended, I could see Isaiah ending up in the top 10 of fantasy tight ends in 2023 for sure. So this could be this could be a good call from you.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that he's he was looking pretty good. I mean, from the little bit I did see, I mean, he did not look bad at all. I was pretty well impressed for him being a rookie, and I was hoping he would have. It sucked that the Ravens kind of lost Jackson, or the lost him. So Ravens seem like they're not a complete team. The wide receivers always seem to get hurt. No one stays healthy. I mean, I was hoping for what's his name to bounce back this year. He ended up getting hurt. I can't think of his name offhand. What's the kid that they drafted?
Bateman.
Yep. I was hoping for Bateman to have a. Yep, I was hoping for Bateman to have a good year, and it's just like, oh my god, So I mean, they're the tight ends. With him losing all those targets, Likely was a guy to have on your team. Kasicki, I like. I think he's going to move on. He might go somewhere else. If not, if he stays there, I mean, he's going to be a part of the. If he does stay there, I think he'll be a good part of Miami's offense. He gets a few touchdowns here and there, but I mean, he does what he does with the targets. I mean, I have no doubt about him. Knox, yeah, we talked about Knox. He's just one of those guys that just kind of there. He's annoying. You want to draft him. When you draft him, it's he has a shitty week. You bench him, then he has a he goes off and has a freaking great week, and you're like, oh my god. Then you put him in, and so it's just one of those players that he's just very inconsistent, and you just hope you land on the day that he goes off. So those are kind of my last little bit. I'm sure there could have been a few other guys in there, but that's kind of is what it is.
Hey, you get to this portion of the list. My favorite team is the Vikings, Jets, whatever life.
Look, that looks like my son.
He's like, hey, dude, I'm gonna pop on and harass these guys.
And he's gonna throw Viking shade in here.
He should have been. He should have been around 5 or 10 minutes ago. I was slurping the Vikings. I was talking them up. I was saying how they're going to be Super Bowl contenders next year. Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I'll give the honorable mentions here quick, and then we can move on to some baseball stuff. But I thought I'd get that in there. I agree with Mike Gesicki. I think he'll be on the move though. He could end up anywhere. Any place that needs an upgrade at tight end. Yeah. So maybe even Arizona. Maybe Zach Ertz finally just calls it a day, retires, and then Mike Gesicki goes and signs with the Cardinals or something. Can see that. Dalton Schultz would have been in this honorable mention group. Dalton Schultz is he's not great, but he's a good tight end. Definitely worth starting in the league and having on a fantasy roster.
I mean, I think he's better than
Tyler Conklin. Conklin, I like a lot from the Jets. He put up a lot of 2 touchdown games, and he was solid with the Vikings. Him and Irv Smith when they were there a couple years ago. So Conklin, I didn't see much from CJ Uzomah, so I'm assuming Conklin's gonna be the number 1 guy with the Jets. And my last guy, a little bit of a sleeper here, Hayden Hurst. He's working in Cincinnati, working with my man Joe Burrow. I know they've got a shit ton of receivers, and he's probably the 4th option, but I mean, it's never a bad situation when Joe Burrow is your quarterback. So there's always going to be targets to be had. So I like Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst would probably be my 20. He'd probably be my number 20 if he was.
Yeah, most definitely. Donovan, if you want to chime in real quick with your probably last 5 or whatever heck it is.
Yeah, my 11 through 15. Yeah, so I would have David Njoku. He's going to be around that 11, and I agree that he could move up. That offense could start to click. We talked a little bit about that during the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then I got a disgusting one that he hurt me all year, and that's Cole Kmet. And he was another guy that was like, okay, I'm done. I can't trust this guy. I'm going to sit him. Oh, great. 2 touchdowns. Awesome. I'll put him back in.
Donovan, he's NFC. I call him NFC Knox. That's what he is.
Yeah,
he's NFC Knox. Same guy.
100%. In fact, I'm going to make a live swap right now. I'm going to move Cole Kmet down to 13. I'm moving Dulcich up to 12. So Dulcich 12, Cole Kmet 13. That's live. That's breaking news right there. And then one that nobody's mentioned yet that I had just showed a lot of little spurts of talent, and I don't know. This is like February guessing shot in the dark stuff, but that Chig Aquano or whatever.
Yeah, the guy from Tennessee.
Yeah, like boy, if they could figure out how to work that guy out, like he showed some nice spurts of talent there on a poor passing offense. I think there's possibility, and again, we're down in this no man's territory already. So, he has the ability to move way up or way down with the snap of a finger. And then my 15 would be Higbee, followed by Knox and Ertz, and then Gesicki. So,
yeah, I mean, I was looking at that kid too a little bit. I was like, yeah, he's still not quite. And he actually had some good spurts with Tennessee, and I know he created some buzz here a little bit and whatnot. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns, 450 yards receiving and whatnot. He got targeted 46 times, so I mean, he got fairly good targeted. Snap share was about 37%. But I mean, overall, I think he's somebody to kind of keep an eye on here this fall. If Tennessee gets their crap together, I think he'll be. I don't know if they're going to be moving off Tannehill. I heard Tannehill could be maybe going to the Jets. I don't know. I mean, and then McHale, being being the guy there. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But I kind of like that. I kind of like that pick. I was thinking about maybe tossing him up in mine too. I wasn't really quite fan of Dulcich. He was kind of off. I know a lot of guys were like, ooh, and there were some guys who were hyping him up and whatnot, but I just not quite of a fan of him quite yet. Maybe this upcoming year, maybe. I don't know. I just don't like Dulcich too much. He'd be a guy I wouldn't be drafting at all. I'd probably pass him up, and it'd be like a Zach Ertz, Everett. No, I mean, I'd probably even draft Noah Fant or one of those other guys over him. Even who knows? Maybe even one of the guys from the Lions. Yeah, there was a couple there. There was Brock Wright, and Shane Zazultra. So I mean, there's two guys there that you could totally draft too, and they might one of those two guys could be a tight end one for up in the road down the road. So I mean, there's some good talent around.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential in Brock Wright from the Lions. I would say he's over Zylstra. He's probably the number one guy. The Lions. I like to see who teams are working with, like the kid with the weird name from Tennessee that kind of tore it up towards the end of the season. If he's working with Ryan Tannehill or what's the old boy's name, Malik Willis, that's. But if he was working with Aaron Rodgers, now if they traded for Aaron Rodgers, even Aaron Rodgers is 75% still better than Ryan Tannehill. So, like that might increase his value. I could see him, maybe shooting up in the top 15. Just depends on these people are working with. I don't like the Rams offense right now, so I'm not high. I know he got a lot of targets. I know he got, he's been getting action the last couple of years, but I'm not high on Tyler Higbee because who he's working with. I mean, who the hell do they have? I mean, they don't have any receivers other than Cooper Kupp. They really don't. Yep. They're not working with any. Not working with anything. And the running backs are garbage. Cam Akers, come on now. They're in cap hell. That's just a bad organization right now. Bad team. And Higbee's going to pay the price for it. He's going to be. I had him number 22 on my tight end list, which is probably. I mean, that's probably 5 to 10 spots lower than what most people would have him. But I just And then like you were saying with the Lions guys, I just put them up there. I think that now the worst tight end situation is in Tampa Bay. I would know Cam Brate. He's been in the league a long time. Awful. And the young kid, he's not. He ain't anywhere near Brock or Gronk. So I'm hoping we take one of these kids, Kincaid or Michael Maher. That'd be great in Tampa. We definitely need like a first round level tight end talent to come to Tampa because we have the worst running back situation probably in the worst tight end situation. Not good. Not good.
Yeah. Yep. That's for damn sure. But I honestly I think that kind of wraps up kind of our tight end segment anyways. And since there's football and a little baseball, I think it's time to well, actually, we should recap real quick, and then we can get into baseball. So let's do a quick recap, and then we'll get on over to the baseball.
Now, this might take me like 5 minutes because this damn computer's so slow. So slow. Come on. All right. Number 1, I had Travis Kelce. Number 2, T.J. Hawkinson. Number 3, George Kittle. Number 4, Dallas Goedert. And number 5, Mr. Mark Andrews, who will be traded mid-season. And 6 through 10, bada bing, bada boom. Show yourself on the damn screen. Stop freezing up. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Darren Waller, Evan Ingram, Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, and my main man, Juwan Johnson at number 10 and 11 to 16. If this damn thing ever decides to show itself. Number 11, Gerald Everett. Number 12, Jordan Akins. Number 13, Greg Dulcich. Number 14, Pat Freiermuth. Number 15, Dawson Knox, who some might say is AFC Cole Kmet. And the rook that's coming in, Michael Maher. Hopefully he ends up in Tampa, probably more like Green Bay or New England. So
awesome, Donovan.
That's my list.
Have at her.
Oh, my list would start off with Travis Kelce, followed by Mark Andrews, then T.J. Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller, then Evan Ingram. Oh yeah, Evan Ingram was at 8. 9 is Dalton Schultz. 10 would be Pat Fairmouth. 11, David Njoku. 12 would be Greg Dulcich. Then pushed down was Cole Kmet. We got Chig at 14, Higbee at 15, and Knox rounding it out at 16.
Nice. Awesome. All right. I got Kelce.
Getting chiggy with it.
Right?
Chiggy with it.
Yeah. I got Andrews at 2, Kittle at 3, Pitts would probably be 4, Hawkinson would be 5, Goddard at 6, Ingram at 7. I would probably go Merrimuth at 8. Waller at probably 9. 9. Waller at 8, Schultz at 9, Joku at 10, Conklin at 11, Higbee at 11, Kmet probably stay the same at 12, Everett at 13, Knox 14, Gesicki at 15, and likely rounded off at 16. So I guess it's a little time for a little baseball talk. I've been kind of excited a little bit, and let's get her done.
Ooh.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's purdy.
I'll get a little wild for the baseball. Take me out to the ball game.
Yes. So I've kind of been working on a nice little graphic. So when Eli, what do you think of me of revising our background for our baseball or football segment? I might do that. I don't know. We'll see. But since Dom and I are on Sundays,
I think that I'm not gonna lie here. I am fucking loving this baseball background. This is sick. You might need to pull the three of us clowns off the screen so y'all can see this, or Jamie might need to post it on Discord or wherever the hell. But this background is just fantastic. We might need the measuring stick is now this baseball background because the football one just doesn't add up anymore. So you're probably gonna have to do something with that. But this is fantastic, man. I'm loving Cup Air. I can see. I think that's the Blue Jays down there. I see the Oriole eyes. I see a little bit of everything. I see a skyline from the ballpark. Love it.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Was that
Knocked
Vlad
it out
Jr.?
of the park.
Yep. Yeah, you got some, Singer, you got some McKenzie. I'm not sure what else we got up in here, but yeah, I mean, we got little Twins. Got some A stuff in there. So next Sunday, you'll see the graphics a little bit more. I got a little Oriole bird up in there. I got I got some of the up in the other corner there. I got the Milwaukee little symbol over there. So yeah, I kind of ticed it up, had fun editing that, putting some stuff together and whatnot. So yeah, you'll probably see more of that next Sunday. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's pretty dope. I like it. So yeah, we'll have to do a little editing on that for sure. But I suppose we shall get to it, huh?
Dig in.
Yeah. So Donovan and I actually did a nice 20-man mock draft the other night while I was kind of working on the graphic here a little bit, our background for this. And yeah, it was quite interesting because, it turned out, it was on Fantasy Pros. You can actually set up to actually get some people to mock with you and whatnot. You just send out the link. So, and it was quite interesting because, I kind of went some batters, pitchers. I think I ended up with Michael Witt. I can't remember exactly. I should have had that pulled up, but I mean, we kind of had some fun with that a little bit, just kind of see who went where. And I don't know, I was kind of happy with my team. I mean, I actually had I had Spencer Strider. I ended up getting Sandoval. I think there was a couple other guys that I ended up getting. I can't remember offhand, but I guess I could pull that up while we're talking about this.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm
hungry. Let's feast.
Not finding mine, but that's all right. If you got it, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up here quick.
I don't mind showing my secrets to the world.
Right? If I can find the mock draft part of this on here, because it's always kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah,
Wasn't
mock
that
draft
wasn't that
Bob.
Paul Ellering from wrestling? Wasn't he the mastermind manager? I think that's you, Donovan. I think you're the mastermind of fantasy baseball. Let's see what Jay's got. Let's see what Jay's got for his mock draft. Let's put him on the spot.
Yeah, for some odd reason, my mock draft is not showing up here that we did last night, which is crazy.
I can't find it either. So I wonder if they only stick around for 24 hours, maybe.
Well, because it shows my other ones I did in January, February, you know. So which is weird. That's very weird. I don't know why that.
I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
I see other ones, but I don't see the one that we did. So.
Well, what the hell? Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
But I mean, overall, yeah, that's kind of crazy. But I mean, overall, I was happy with some of the guys that I ended up getting. You know, I tried to kind of get a little bit more on the pitcher side, just a smudge. You know, I ended up actually taking Danny Jamendis. You know, he was kind of a relief pitcher from the A's. So, I mean, this is getting deep. And then I actually had him last year in a 20-man league. So, I mean, especially the other thing too is I actually kind of probably look at some of the holds because you know there's a holds category in this as well. Mm-hmm. So I mean it's a 10-by-10 category league, you know, and it was quite interesting to kind of see where some of the kind of you're building your roster construction. It's also gonna vary too in my eyes.
Yeah, and after I went on telling everybody that I wouldn't have Andrew Vaughn as my first baseman, he was my first baseman in that. So, but again, that was a deep league. I waited at first base, so it just felt right where I took him. But
yeah, he was actually on the board for a while, from what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good value pick, and I let first base slide too far, and it was fine. I felt pretty good about where I was at. Took a lot of pitching, so.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's kind of having that happy medium when it comes to baseball because, you know, I was mentioning this quite a bit last year too. It's hard to find that happy medium between batters and pitching because, you know, you don't want to get too less with your, you know, batting because then you're going to be weaker at that point, you know. So it's always going to be a struggle, and I'm always going to say on that too. It's trying to find a happy medium with your team. You know, if you have to reach for a guy that you might like, then reach for them. I mean, it's not going to kill you to actually, you know, see what happens because there might be another guy in your league that might like that guy, and like you can probably trade him off. You know, so I mean, there's always that aspect of it too.
Yeah.
I am kind of surprised. I'm kind of annoyed now because.
That's right.
I mean,
there was. On.
Yeah, we do. But I know there was I ended up missing out. Like, I know we talked about Singer a little bit because, I mean, he was going into 200, you know, kind of that 200 range, you know, so I was kind of happy about, you know, I kind of missed out on him, but I think I ended up getting Sandoval, and there was a couple other guys too, you know, so it was actually, you know, having to dig to find these guys. And I can't remember who all I had because the mock draft is just gone for some odd reason. So I was not happy with it, but for some odd reason, I ended up with an A. I had a couple reaches, they said. I think Sandoval was one of them. I think there was one other guy, too. I think it was all pitching that I reached for, and they, you know, so other than that, I know you ended up with like a B or something like that. And we discussed that, too, before we ended up after the draft, after our mock draft, which was kind of, I guess when you do a 20-man, it's going to be kind of difficult because, you know, a lot of these guys that we talk about, or even, you know, other pods that talk about like, well, you shouldn't be taking this guy or this guy because he lacks in power or, you know, he strikes out too much. These guys are going to be drafted no matter if they, you know, if they strike out or, you know, if their batting sucks. Yeah. These guys are going to be drafted no matter what.
You're getting a guy with a pulse at the end of a 20-man. So.
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, I did a lot of digging for what I did and just having to find the Scrabble guys. And like I mentioned, there was a guy that I picked up from the Pirates that went on a hot streak toward the end, and I can't remember who he was. I was trying to figure out who he was because, you know, he actually was getting a couple homers, RBIs, and whatnot. So there was a guy that was, you know, it's like you think of the Pirates getting some batters that are actually know what they're doing is kind of crazy.
They're out there.
It's the best. They haven't had anybody great since Andrew McCutcheon was there.
Well, he's back with
Jeez,
them now,
I'm dating myself there. I think, yeah, at the end of his damn career was useless. I think, guys, we need to redo a mock 20-man, 20 whatever the hell, 20 round, 20. It doesn't matter. I demand that we redo this mock draft, the three of us, and find some other people. We'll do it ESPN, wherever. And then we'll have the results. I'll get back on with you guys on some other, maybe a Sunday or something, and then we'll show the results. And then I want to be a part of this too, because you know what, I haven't been that active the last few years in fantasy baseball. I could use your guys' guidance and expertise here, so we should make that happen. So I acknowledge that it did happen. This draft, this unicorn draft, it did happen. Donovan, Jamie, and they'll enlighten me too. Anybody else that wants to join us, I mean, Jamie's good about sharing stuff on. I mean, we'll share the damn link. Everybody that wants to join in, man, it'll be a good time. Yeah, I don't know. Jamie will set that up, but yeah, I'm down for a mock draft for sure.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of them actually. Season's coming up.
I'm not scared.
Yeah, and like I was telling Eli, it's like now's the time to actually sort of waiting like in March to do some mock drafts. Start doing some mock drafts now, because you actually want to get an idea, especially in smaller leagues or points leagues or anything like that, because the more knowledge you know now, it's going to help you. It's almost like prepping for your fantasy football. You do the prep work now instead of like a day or 2 days ahead of time, because there's just way so much information out there. Start doing some mock drafts now, see what trends are going out there, which guys are going where. I mean, that's the thing about it. I mean, I know, like, I was there was one mock draft I did. I was kind of surprised, and I shared this with you, like Donovan and a couple other guys. Like, I actually ended up getting Witt in like the second round, and I think I was drafting with some guys that didn't know what the hell they were doing. So I was like, what the hell? Because there were some guys that were actually falling. I was like, how come this guy is not drafted? I was like, what the hell? I ended up getting some guy in the third round. And I was kind of like, there's no way in hell I could have had this guy, in the third round. I'm like, this is just insane.
Yeah, and the only scary part about mocks is you kind of get comfortable, and then you get in the real world and somebody jumps you and grabs your guy, and you're just in scramble mode. So if you do enough, you should get comfortable with all the players around in that area. So
and that's the thing that I'm trying to do too, is trying to kind of change it up a little bit, because I rather not get comfortable with trying to take these guys, certain guys that I like, change it up a little bit to kind of like, well, okay, well, I'll take Matt Fried over, somebody else or something like that, so try to get comfortable, taking somebody else that maybe I might like for that year, just try to change it up a little bit. And that's for sure. It's always kind of difficult, because, there's guys that I liked last year that I might want to try to draft this year, like Michael Harris. There's no way in hell I might not get him on my team this year.
No, it's going too high.
Yeah.
Let's dig in.
You get that great value like Walmart. A lot of them players. You guys ready to now that kind of had a little slipski with the mock draft there, snake draft. Should we get into some players who I wasn't sure about Donovan's guy. He'll have to explain. I found like a guy from the early 1900s with his name, and I was like, that can't be right. Jamie's guy would be interesting. My guy would be interesting. But I'm gonna let Donovan go first, because I don't know who the hell Jack McCarthy is. I thought it was Brandon McCarthy. See, I said this what happens when you haven't paid attention in a while. Jake McCarthy. I thought he was Brandon McCarthy. I thought he was the old White Sox pitcher.
It's Jake McCarthy, but so Jake McCarthy last year, he kind of came out of the woodwork. He had 23 stolen bases, 8 home runs in 99 games. So I mean, he was a little spark for the Diamondbacks, and I think he was kind of an unknown for the most part in your layperson fantasy world heading into the season. We didn't know what to expect. The year prior, he played 24 games He just didn't make much noise. So we weren't expecting much out of him. And he came through, and I think he was in the Rookie of the Year running. So, I mean, he came in with a bang. And I'm wondering, I'm looking at him, trying to figure out if he can do it again. And the thing with Jake McCarthy that's intriguing is that he'll only hit probably 10 to 15 home runs, but he has that 30 stolen base upside. So with a decent batting average and OBP, so he's very intriguing. He is a first round pick that just kind of wasn't as high on the, I guess, prospect radar. Probably because 2018 he was picked. He just kind of laid low and just kind of snuck up and grabbed us. And so I'm just really interested to see this year in particular. He's going fairly high in ADP wise, and he's projected to bat third in the order, which I don't know with all that speed if they could put him there. But the dynamic that's going to be weird in Arizona is they have Corbin Carroll, who is the fastest player in baseball. He's coming up to win the Rookie of the Year, allegedly. That's what they're going to try for. So they already have him playing outfield. McCarthy's an outfielder. They have Lourdes Gurriel, who is, has his injury issues, but they kind of have they have Alec Thomas. So, I mean, they kind of have a crowded outfield, and hopefully he doesn't get pushed out. So, but if you're willing to take a little bit of risk, this guy could rip you 30 stolen bases this year, and it's very intriguing to me.
And I think I know they're like me. I'm a stickler for guys who steal bases because that's one thing. A lot of times my averages are not that great, but I mean, if I can beat some guy that doesn't have who's weak with steals or like hits, or or finding that guy who can actually get get to the third base. I mean, get that one guy that gets you one or two third bases. It's people like that you might want to have that will end up getting you that one nice score in their categories. I always kind of like that to kind of I always like kind of watching guys that get to the third base, and it's like, oh sweet, I got third base. I'm like, this guy didn't even get one all week. So it's guys like that I kind of like.
Yeah, so
they
this guy's
fill
got
up miscellaneous.
Go ahead.
They fill up miscellaneous categories. I've done a lot of it depends what kind of league you're in, but I've had a lot of experience doing the category. Like there'll be 15 or 16 categories, and I like Jamie. He might not have value. He doesn't have power. OPS isn't great by any means, but I mean, if he can get you steals and triples, I mean, that's a lot of 17 category leagues, especially in Yahoo.
Yeah, and that's
especially one of the leagues my brother runs. I mean, that every week. I mean, it's like clockwork. Cut off my point. What is wrong with you? You damn. This stops now, guys. I'm taking donations for you. See me? I'm taking donations here. But I was saying, like, you have to worry about it. It's I like weird categories like that are always covered, and because there are a lot of top end guys that'll cover a bunch of different things. They'll cover 5 or 6 things, but you need guys like this on your roster, especially in the utility spot. You need him to do 1 or 2 categories where, okay, hey, I won this matchup 10-7 because of Jake McCarthy. Guys like this. I love these utility guys.
Yeah. I was actually trying to look at where I was actually. If you want to exit out quick, Eli, and pop back in, you sure can do that. I was Donovan. I was actually trying to look to see where McCarthy was actually ranked in the NFBC, where he was at, where he was actually being drafted at. And I was just kind of curious at where he was actually, how far down he was. He might not even be drafted in some like deeper leagues, I'm sure.
He should be. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I didn't have this pulled up.
Yeah, I kind of just pulled it up, and I was like, I was kind of intrigued to kind of see where, um, kind of to see where he
All is
was.
forgiven. It's negative 30 outside. We're all forgiven tonight for our sin.
So on Fantasy Pros, they have him at 121.
121.
As of right now. And let's go to
like
NFC
for hitters or
yeah, he's a hitter.
Hitters or overall?
Yeah.
That's overall.
Yeah.
121. And
Okay.
overall,
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I was looking at because he's
he's
outfielder.
Yeah, he's outfield only. And NFC for the month of February, he's currently at 115. So
oh shit, way down there.
It's a favor. It's a fairly, he's going around Stephen Kwan and Christian Yelich, Taylor Ward. So I just don't know. I don't believe in Kwan. Another guy that just kind of popped up. He's got a lot of. He's a really good all around player. McCarthy's stolen bases are what would push me to take McCarthy over Kwan. But looking at Yelich, allegedly he's in the best shape of his life, so he's going to have an amazing season. And Taylor Ward, Nick Castellanos, Chris Bryant, those are all players that are in a similar drafting area. So
let's see here.
I don't know. It's intriguing because I don't know who sits in that outfield, or if they're going to rotate, or if Gurriel's just going to play all-time DH. They have Evan Longoria on that team now, so he's going to probably get some DH time. It's just kind of a interesting team right now.
I was actually trying to find him in just the outfield projections, and for some odd reason I'm not finding him because you said it was about 119 and he's not there for some odd reason.
All right.
Yeah, because I'm looking under
he's 28th outfielder overall in NFC.
28th? Oh, crap. Okay, I'm looking at it wrong here. So he's actually right behind like Seiya Suzuki, Stephen Kwan, just ahead of Taylor Ward, Yelich, Nick Castellino. Gee, so he's actually, they got him ranked pretty high then.
Yeah, it's all the stolen bases that are pushing him way up.
Yeah, it looks like it because I like I like an Ian Happ. I mean, he's the guy that I would probably end up drafting with the Cubs because I had shares of him. But, geez, I didn't think he has pushed up there that far. But that's crazy, though.
It's intriguing.
It is.
I think you're paying. So a lot of times, especially in baseball, you're paying dividends on last year's results. So this could be it as well. Especially if he's batting in the third slot. I just don't know that he gets all those stolen bases, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, because he's actually, he's going right ahead. He's right behind. Right behind Ketel Marte. And he's going. I like Gurriel. He's actually looks like he's batting 6. Hopefully Gurriel maybe bumps up a little bit because I've always been a fan of him with, I end up always getting him on my team when he was with the Blue Jays, him and Springer, so I was, and then the other guy that went over to Seattle, he was one guy I always end up having, Hernandez. He was one guy that I always, for some odd reason, I always end up having at least 3 Blue Jays on my team. But that must be because they're great. But yeah, I don't know.
That's McCarthy in a nutshell.
Yeah, it seems like it. That's crazy, man. Crazy. So let me find my guy here real quick here. I want to find the roster selection here.
I feel like Gulliver's Travel here. I've been asleep for too long. Chris Bryant's fallen to like the 120 spot. I remember when Chris Bryant was in the MVP conversation. Gurriel. I remember when Gurriel was tearing it up with the Blue Jays. I'm like, what? Like Christian Yelich. I mean, I'm like, these are guys I know. I'm like feeling better here, and then I'm like, oh god, they've fallen so far.
I mean, I've had shares of Yelich. I mean, it's not like he's fallen off. But I mean, I've had shares of him where, he's kind of a late rounder guy that he's kind of a filler in when you really need it. But my guy I like is Luis Renfreo. Renfreo, is that how you say it? But he's actually batting. He's pretty much last. He's batting ninth. Probably not the best spot to be batting in, but in a deeper league, he was one guy I fluctuated to. Um, and I just like the fact that he's got that he's in the SS spot. Um, he actually I can't remember exactly what he all had, but I just know that he filled a lot of my categories that I needed because I think he had some other agile utility spots to him because I think he had like second base, third base, or something like that. So I mean, in my eyes, he's a good utility guy in my eyes.
He was
I know they
he was
got
a
him.
second shortstop at third base, Jay.
Yeah,
he filled three.
I know.
He was a 3-spot guy.
Yeah, and I know they actually got him. I know last year he actually had 17 home runs, which was just outstanding. His previous years he's only had 7 very minimal home runs, but he's kind of got the upside with a little bit of the RBI, a little bit, so his RBI is kind of bumped up, so his batting ended up getting better last year. So I'm hoping that he can keep up with maybe a few more homes. They got him projected at about 14 home runs. A lot of the projections I have up there are from Fangraphs, but I'm hoping maybe he can feel a little bit better for this upcoming year. I like to maybe see that 17 home run. I mean, that'd be great for a guy who's going to be in your utility spot. He's kind of a great fill-in spot, and he was one guy that I eyed quite a bit in most of my leagues last year. But for draft, being ninth, not the greatest position. You just hope for the best when it comes to a guy like him. I like him, so he's a guy on my list that I enjoy.
You just hope Mike Trout hits him in with some home runs.
Yeah, and that's for dang sure. And yeah, and I was looking at especially if you're in points leagues. I don't know where they have him ranked at in points leagues. I was gonna kind of look and see where they kind of got him with points leagues because there's a lot of guys that play points leagues, and I like points leagues too as well. Um, I'll take a quick look here and see. He's down here probably a little while. It's gonna have a lot of this stuff prepared, but when you got bad weather, it kind of messes up everything. Jesus, it actually
This
looks like they
Angels,
got him.
I don't know why this. I mean, like, I don't know why this Angels team isn't very competitive. Every year. I mean, you got Ohtani, Trout. I mean, this kid seems pretty good. Like you're the more of an expert, Donovan. Like, why is this Angels team not in contention? Why aren't they in the ALCS or even a divisional playoff every year? Like, why are they so
honestly,
average?
Every year it seems they have some sort of catastrophic injury, and it just throws their team off. They're just always just missing, right? Just like you said, you got Trout with his he missed a couple of years back. He was missing games, and now we almost book him to miss a few games every year. He's getting long in the tooth. Anthony Rendon, another guy that just can't stay healthy over there, at third base. And
yeah, he was a stud at one time. Yeah, now he's injury prone. But
it was sad. It was my very first dynasty trade. I traded for an injured Anthony Rendon. I got laughed at, and for 3 years, I'm like, yeah, like Rendon's amazing. Yeah, eat it, boys. And then all of a sudden one day, I'm like, I got to let this guy go. He is an albatross to me. And yeah, they just can't ever seem to just seal the deal, So
Yeah, you just assume like big market, big pay. They'd have a big payroll, and Ohtani. Well, there was an article this week. I didn't put it on the scroll, but about Ohtani saying he's going to hit free agency, for 2024, and
He should.
and if they lose him, then it's okay. Trout's closing on 35, and then you lose Ohtani. It's like, who the hell is going to show up for this team? They're going to be a 60-win team that nobody shows up to the ballpark.
How many years in a row have we heard that they got to get Trout that ring? They're going to get Trout in the playoffs. Like, they just can't do it.
No, just incompetent. Trout should have signed. He should have signed with the damn Yankees or Giants years ago. He's just he effed up there.
Playing the Astros, having the Astros in their division didn't help them anything.
That doesn't help, yeah.
I mean,
Mariners are better.
Rangers,
now.
Mariners,
Rangers,
Athletics. They should.
Better, yeah.
That should be wins every week. So I don't know. It's just been injuries and just bad luck.
Yeah, I was looking at points. So I was looking at the points leagues here, or points projections with Lewis here. Quick, they got him with about 14 home runs, 46 RBIs, strikeouts about 86. So it seems like he had up a little bit more than 79. 7 base steals. His OPS about 683. Last year he had about 782. So he had about 251 points last year. So now they got him projected about 217. And hopefully, these projections, hopefully he can, beat out some of these projections in points leagues anyways.
I have him at 150 games for 16 home runs and 6 stolen bases. So it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, and I probably forgot to put the stolen bases in there. God dang it! Did it again.
Well, it's like 6. It's not like it's a
This isn't a burner. He's not a burner.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these guys that might get you, especially if you're like getting down to the nitty gritty, you're on, like Saturday or Sunday, you're like, God, I needed just a few, just a couple of base steals, and a guy like him, he's the one that kind of puts you over in that category. If you need a couple, I mean, somebody like him is going to be like, oh, thank God he actually, so when it gets down to a league, you're getting down to nitty gritty like this, a guy like him will be most valuable in my eyes.
Yeah. You want to know that this guy has the capacity to do it. He's not some big lumbering 260-pound guy that's gonna maybe get 1 stolen base all year. You like that he's got the capability. He's not gonna be a 40 steal guy, but I see where you're coming from. Like in a pinch, this guy can put me over the top for the matchup.
Yeah, most definitely.
Is it Kyle Wright time? Is it?
I think so.
Feels like
Kyle Wright time. Is it? Now I know. Those with binoculars could probably read it, but hey, I tried to do one on my own. I'm not Jay with the editing here. But basically, Kyle Wright last year was 21-5 with the Braves, and he's more of a household name than these other two guys. He finished, I think, 6th or 7th in the Cy Young. And Max Fried is like the ace of the Braves staff, and they've got a couple other names on their staff, and they just recently won a World Series. So he kind of fell under the radar, didn't have a lot going for him the last few years. He was drafted in 2017 out of Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's been a college power for years. People that don't watch college baseball know that, Vanderbilt, LSU, schools like that. So he came from a power, was a 5th overall pick. So people have been touting he's had the goods for a long time, and he's always had like an 8.5 to 9 strikeout per 9 inning. About a strikeout per inning has pretty much been his average throughout college and with the Braves so far. So, but last year was just kind of his breakout year. Like I said, went 21-5, led the not just the NL whole majors in wins, and ERA was a little under 3.2. WHIP was decent, about 1.16. And these are about where he was. He had a couple sporadic starts his debut was like the end of 18, so he's had a little more experience than you guys. And like I said, he's more well known. I think people are sleeping on him in terms of his overall draft position, I should say. So they have him number 32 at starting pitcher, and I'm like, the guy just let. I know he's okay. He's decent in strikeouts. Okay, he was I think he was 12th in strikeouts in the NL, and like I said, he was 9th in strikeouts per 9 innings. So a couple of those categories, in the National League, he's in the upper half. I mean, to me, AL might be a little bit stronger, but I think he's a top 25 starting pitcher, like draft wise. And these guys correct me here, but Kyle Wright, from what I saw, like his overall is like 106. That could be maybe a little bit higher. Overall pitcher, there's a lot of damn good relief pitchers that fill up the stat line. So I don't have a problem with him being, in the 40s there. But I just that 32 stuck out to me when I was picking this guy, because I'm like, I went with a homer a couple weeks ago. I went with a red, had to. You guys are probably like, oh, he's probably going to pick a twin this time. He's just going to pick his favorite team. No, I picked Kyle Wright, and I like I like him and Fried. They are a good 1-2 combo, and I made a prediction about the Cubs getting a wild card. I think the Braves and the Phillies are going to compete for. Mets will find a way to fuck it up. They always do. Marlins are. I think the Marlins will be around 500. They'll be decent. Nationals are garbage. So I think the old Braves are going to find a way in the playoffs too. They're going to be a wild card this year, and a lot of it's going to be on Fried and Wright. The top. This reminds me, being an old baseball fan. I grew up with this shit. I remember those great Braves teams from the '90s with Glavine and John Smoltz and Maddox and Kevin Millwood and all those boys. This is kind of seasoning up the same way. They not as strong, but when you have two guys that finish in the top 7 of your Cy Young on the same team, that's damn good. So Kyle Wright was my guy, and I don't know. I'll see what you guys have to say about his positioning there in the draft, but I think 32 is way too low for starters.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that he's probably suppressed a little bit was he had 21 wins last year. And I think as far as the outlooks and projections go, obviously he's unlikely to get 21 wins again, considering that like Fried pitched even better than Kyle Wright last year and had, I think, 14 wins or 15 wins. So like
14 and 7. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's probably not going to get there, right? Which is okay. He's a dang good pitcher. Another problem right now is he's already got his shoulder barking, and he has a cortisone shot in there. So that's going to push him down some more. So that's probably why he hangs around there. But I agree. If he's on, and you look at, this is a guy too that had some struggles. Last year, it all clicked for him. And so that's probably another reason that people want to see just one more. They want one more taste before they buy in. So Kyle Wright at 30, 31, 32 pitcher, if you're in on him and he hits, you're gold, right? So I think you could reach for him and come out, 16 wins? He pitched 180 innings. So if he gets another 180 innings, 180 strikeouts, I think you're doing pretty good. It all clicked last year. He looked legit last year. So I think the reason he's suppressed and the numbers are down where people want to see it one more time. Baseball's fickle like that, right? Football, it's like, oh my God, the guy popped. He's amazing. We're going to take him at amazing. Baseball's like, yeah, you're going to be doing this for another 15 years. So I'm going to wait one more year before I believe in you. And then on the opposite, I'm going to carry this guy for another year until he shows me that, like me and Anthony Rendon, I'll carry him. No, he's really done. He is really dead. He will be behind the woodshed.
And that's the thing that when it comes to baseball, there's that next guy in line to be the next topic. Kyle Wright could be, he could have been this, the 2022 guy, and he could just have a total shit show. And that's the thing about baseball too. I mean, you can have these, some guy that comes in and just just like, dude, where did this guy come from? So I mean, in baseball, it could be anybody. It could be anybody's game, and that's the thing about it too. If you're, you know, if you're really involved in a lot of these different teams and know what's going on, yeah, you're gonna be like, you're gonna be seeing different trends like this, and that's the thing about it too. I mean, Kyle Wright, he'll but more likely he'll be drafted, fifth, sixth round for sure, you know. But I mean, overall, I mean, he is looking at 182 pitches, this year. So I mean, that's a lot of innings. So I mean, that's it's not quite 200, but they were talking about people being in a 200 club, and it's just, him, his projection is about 183 strikeouts this year. So I mean, he's a guy that you want to have on your team for sure. They got involved for 13 wins. They got I was looking at points wise on ESPN. They got him for about 12, so they're pretty close in similar eyes. And the Braves are a good team. So I mean, these are guys that you're going to want to be drafting for sure.
Yeah. Well, and then here's the other thing with Wright. Like, you want pitchers on good teams, and Eli nailed it. The Braves they're a freaking lock in their division. Who's going to beat them? The Nationals? Doubt it. The Mets?
No.
I mean, the Mets are going to be, they're going to be there'll be a hard team, and the Phillies, but like they're probably going to be in the wild card. Like, this team is built, man.
Yeah, Phillies are damn good.
But I mean, the Braves, they got Fried, Wright. They still got Charlie Morton. He's 140 years old, but the guy could still strike you out. Spencer Strider, Ian Anderson,
swing it.
Mike Soroka.
Remember him with the Pirates, man.
Dude, they got pitchers for days. Like, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting division to watch, but I think the Braves got to get in. There's no way around that.
I think I would be drafting Spencer Strider over Charlie Morton. He'd probably be the guy, and then Max, and then Kyle Wright there. I'd probably try to stay, especially in deeper leagues. I probably would stay away from Ian Anderson. He's not the greatest, but
no.
as you guys were talking about pitchers, I know. I was just thinking about as we're talking about. I was just thinking that the Mets, they kind of lost. They lost Bassett. I liked Bassett. He the crazy thing about him is he's going up. He went over with the Blue Jays. So that's intriguing to me. They pretty much lost Bassett. They got Verlander.
Is DeGrom still gone, or is he back, or is he? Did he lose his luggage, or?
He's down in Texas, man.
Shit show.
Yeah.
Jesus
what
a. They're the Mets. Verlander's 40 years old. Verlander's 40. He's still for a 40-year-old. He's still damn good, but he's 40 years old. Like, that's who you're depending on as your ace. Like,
you got Mad Max.
Yeah.
Oh, Scherzer.
Yeah.
He's old as dirt too.
Anybody would never trust anybody with two different colored eyes.
Yeah. There was another guy too. There was Tyler Miguel. He actually did start off pretty hot, and then he just kind of fell off because I ended up picking him up in a league or so, and he did all right. And then I was just like, it's like I hated to drop the guy, but I mean, him and I think David Robinson were another guy I think that were fairly decent in especially in a deeper league like that. I think he was a role player, but I think he did do some starting pitching. I can't remember. There was another guy too. It was either Miguel and there was somebody else. Oh, it was Terrell Walker. That's the other guy. He's with Philly now. So yeah, he was one guy that I ended up picking up from the Mets. He actually was decent. He actually got a decent contract with the Phillies. And then the other thing too, I think the Twins should hopefully take their division because I think their pitching crew is looking pretty damn sweet in my eyes.
I like what the White Sox have done. The Cleveland will be back again. It'll be a 3-team race. It'll be the White Sox, Twins, and Guardians in the AL Central. Royals. We're waiting for they've been on a rebuild since that World Series in 2015. And then Tigers have been trash probably the last 10 years or so. So yeah, I agree. The Twins could definitely win that division. There's no doubt. Like I said, it'll be 3-team. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 3 teams won that division.
Well, they lost it to the Guardians last year, so it's kind of like they had it, and then the Guardians all of a sudden just took off, and it's like, what the hell's going on, Twins? So that kind of fooled me a little bit. But I just think that with their upgrades with Pablo Lopez, Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, they got Kenta Maeda back, so I am intrigued with Maeda. Hopefully, because he's coming back from Tommy John and stuff like that too. So he might be a guy that I try to get into 20-man because he's got upside, but we'll have to kind of see the trends in spring training a little bit.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's for dang sure. But yeah, we had. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think we had some good discussions. Did it? Yeah, I did bring up his
mock draft.
Yeah.
Mock draft time. Mock draft time.
Yeah. We'll have to
set it up. I got to get reacquainted with some of these young cats, man. I got to get in on mock drafts with you guys.
Yeah, that was for sure. Oh yes, I was actually going to bring this up here real quick too, because I mean these are all points leagues. These are all projections I actually just took right off of from ESPN. Because if your guys are in points leagues and whatnot, so Ohtani, he had like 903. They got him. He's that dual capable guy. So he's projected like 870 or 851 or whatever. Then you got your Garrett Cole, Burns, Aaron Nola. So these are just some guys that you guys could probably look at projection wise. This kind of helps out a little bit. If you're in my Discord, I actually posted these up in the Discord channel. I have a channel just for graphics for MLB batters, pitchers, and stuff like that. So I got some of those guys up. So I got some of this stuff up in there. Is there anybody that you see, Donovan, that intrigues you in points leagues here in this top 40?
Points leagues. Logan Webb is one that, for me, looks like he's getting a bump, which is fine. That would be one to watch because I think you can get him a little later than others in here. Let's see who else. Logan Gilbert, he's another pitcher that I'm torn on. I have him in a keeper league and he's on my bubble, and I'll probably send him back to the pool. I'm going to keep 10, and he just doesn't quite make it. I think I'll keep Alex Bregman over him. He's just kind of a third starter for me. So
gotcha.
In a points league, that seems I would assume that they're putting DeGrom's innings way down to keep him at 365. Otherwise, points leagues, he should be way up there.
Yeah. I think he'll kind of progress too. And I've seen they have Brady Singer at 357. Yeah. So I mean, he's up there quite a bit too. And he's a guy that I like. I know Donovan's probably going to try to keep me from him, but I might have to just draft him in the first round. But no, I mean, Brady Singer is a guy that I kind of intrigued with a little bit. Kind of guy. He probably went undrafted. But I ended up picking him up when he got hot. Just a couple other, the Arias. He is another guy that he's got 415 points here, projected at 415. So I mean, he's up there in the top 20 of guys. So I mean, and I actually seen some mock drafts where Arias actually went later than expected. He was actually still on the board in the 8th, 9th round. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Yeah, he actually. Yeah, I mean, I was doing some of these late night mocks, and he was still on the board at certain times. I was like, "There's no way." I'm like, "Why hasn't no one drafted him in a mock draft?" Especially these mocks. I was like, "Dude, if he's going that late, it's like he's a guy that I would most definitely want on my team for sure."
Yeah. One other guy to watch on here would be Lucas Giolito. And I know Govier was talking about him today in the Discord. In the Palazzo Discord, And I kind of agreed with what he had to say, that this guy was an ace pitcher, and people are just throwing him out with the trash. I at the value you're getting Lucas Giolito this year, he could be right back up where he was last year. So
Oh yeah, I mean, he actually, I know there was a league I was in. He actually was not. He was actually on the free agent trend, and I actually picked him up when he was getting hot,
yep.
and that helped me out a lot. I was like, I heard about him, so I actually picked him up, and next thing you know, he was actually pitching like nuts, and I'm like, dude, this is like, it was almost like him, being a like first rounder or second round pick. You're getting him on the free agent list, and it's like, oh my god, I just actually won my league with this guy.
Yeah.
So it was insane. I was like, there's no way that this guy was on the free agent wire, and I'm just like, dude, I was stoked.
Yeah. No,
There
that's
was
one to watch. We're 1 year removed from a 200 strikeout year for him. So,
yeah.
yeah, I that's a guy that I will probably pick up on the cheap and enjoy every minute of it.
Yep. So let's is there anybody in the 41 to 80 range that intrigues you in the top 80?
In a points.
Yep, in points.
Morton could.
Oh. I was just say quick. I observed something, dude. They got 5 Braves starting pitchers in the top 46 of projected points. Good Lord, good. They are stacked. Jesus, that wasn't an exaggeration. I was gonna say too about Aaron Nola, because he's a guy I like a lot. If he can he can get any kind of run support, instead of winning like 11 or 12 games. I mean, if this guy jumps up to like 17 or 18, he'll be just like a shade under Ohtani. I mean, he'll jump Garrett Cole, and I mean this guy's in terms of innings, he's a workhorse in terms of innings pitched, over 200 the last couple of years. Strikeouts like 235 from last year. I was big on Aaron Nola, because I was watching the playoffs last year, and I was like, this guy's a stud. So yeah, Aaron Nola for sure. I think he's right where he should be at number 4. But I'll let go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Charlie Morton's a guy to watch down here. He's getting up there in age. I think he's 39, but if he can come back, he's another guy just a couple years out from some just awesome pitching performances. Mega strikeout. He's all strikeouts. That pushes him up in these formats. So he would be a guy to watch. Nick Lodolo could be a really sneaky buy this year. I know he's going below Hunter Green, and some people are saying that he's the dude in Cincinnati over Hunter Green, which
interesting.
So he's the guy to watch. Let's see. We both talked about Patrick Sandoval. I think he's probably fair there.
Yeah,
he's kind of where it's at. Luzardo could be good if he can start finding some control. Here. So in points leagues, they have Lodolo over Hunter Green. So that makes there's your argument.
Yep.
George Kirby.
Donovan.
Yeah.
Adam Wainwright still pitching.
That is not a glitch. That's
Down
true.
Like for the what the hell?
No, he's their ace.
What?
So,
no wonder I had the Cubs and Brewers above them.
He's their ace. Yeah. That's true fact stuff there, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And just to kind of quickly wrap up here too, because I know we're running just a little bit long. We were talking about Patrick Sandoval, and I was looking at his points here. He was actually when he finished, he was actually 67th in points last year, and then now it looks like they're only bumping him up about 7 positions from what he was last year, just a little bit more points. So that kind of intrigued me a little bit, that he only went up about 7 spots or so. Especially Gonzalez, I'm kind of surprised he's this low after the year he had. I don't know if they're knocking him down with that he's not going to have that continued wins with the Dodgers or not. So that kind of he's down there a little bit in my eyes. And the other guy that I kind of is John Gray. I've always kind of been a fan of him. He's a kind of one of those guys that you love to hate. You drop him, pick him up, drop him, pick him up. So I mean, he's one of those guys that he's kind of just flaky a little bit. He's got some good games, and then he has some bad games.
He's out of Colorado, so that's a plus already.
Like our friend Buddy.
But I mean, if everybody just I know if on our stream, if you actually just blow up your screen, you'll be able to see the graphics and everything a little bit better. I know it looks small on our side, but if you actually just blow full screen, you can see all the graphics fairly well. They're clear as day to me on my side. But if you just do that, you can pop them all up. You can see all these nice graphics and whatnot. So these are all for points leagues. But yeah, I know I just thought I'll bring this up because it's a good conversation. It makes for good conversation when you're in points leagues, because I know points leagues are a little bit different than categories and whatnot. You want to get the most points as you can out of your pitchers. I know with batters, I kind of mentioned batters. It's the trend I see with batting is that your batters they're going to be a part of it, but they're not going to get you the points like a lot of these pitchers will.
That's a true statement. You push pitching up significantly in a points league. Bats are still important. Obviously, you got to have them, and you want the good ones. But generally, if you draft a head-to-head category or roto category, and then you go and draft the points, it's a whole new world. So definitely, if you're switching over or if it's your first time, mock drafts are very important. I remember my first points league. I'm like, what the hell is going on
here? Yeah, they are, and they'll it takes some time to kind of see a lot of these trends and everything too, because when I at first when I was playing points leagues, I wasn't sure what I was kind of doing. The next thing I'm like, I started seeing trends of pitchers getting more of the points, and I'm like, what the hell? It's like, dude, I was thinking about this all wrong, because I'm like, it's like I want pitchers. So like, screw all these batters. I'm gonna go get try to get these pitchers that are actually getting strikeouts, wins, and that's gonna help me out. And I was kind of furious because in the ESPN couple leagues that I was in, I missed out because I messed up on pitting some guy in my lineup, and I missed out on some of the playoff stuff, and it missed so a couple lineup decisions that I messed up on reflected me not being in the playoffs. So I mean, it's just that's some of those things that kind of happens. I was kind of mad about.
It happens. Yep.
Yes. Well, Eli, is there anything else you want to chime in on that you wanted to mention quick at all, or anything like that before we get up out of here?
Yeah, well, you just observed this stuff because, like I said, it's been a number of years, man, since I've been got my toes into the sand here, got balls deep in this stuff. So, but yeah, I see where a lot of the teams that are struggling, like my beloved Reds and the Rockies, and a lot of bad Pirates, a lot of these bad teams that have been bad for a while. Like you see where it's at in the pitching. Like very few top 80 guys, like whether it's points or whatever category leagues, like it doesn't matter if you don't have. I mean, we see where the good teams are at. I was talking the Braves up. You see where the Phillies are at. You see where the Yankees are at. A lot of these higher end teams, and so that just goes back to pitching. I mean, you can Twins. I mean, what I don't know. That's where I would. You say they're pitching strong. I didn't see it there from the fantasy. I mean, maybe their bullpen's better, but I just didn't see it fantasy wise. But yeah, a lot of these teams where we're projecting them to finish is based a lot on the starting, like the starting pitching and what kind of numbers these guys are putting up. And so I was just curious. That was just an observation, like looking at that. So that's all I got.
Yeah, and just quickly is the teams that are these like the Dodgers, the Mets, or the teams that are actually got the winning streaks to their their teams are pitchers you actually want to try to get on your team, because that they got that winning atmosphere to them, that the pitchers are going to want to pitch well to get a win in. So it's teams like that, if you want to take a look at, that are kind of higher up there in the standings, or are pitching that you want to try to nab up if you're able to.
Well, yeah, with the NFL, I mean, you could grab a random tight end from the Texans or the Colts and be okay. But in the end, in baseball, it's like you pick the second starter from the Reds. We were just kind of looking at, you're barely you're be on your bench half the year. So it's just definitely gonna look at the top 10 teams of the league. Look at the Dodgers, Yankees, Braves, Phillies, Rays. Teams like that. For your players, so that just reaffirms that.
Yeah, you might in a 12-team league or a 10-team league for sure. You might not even have a Pirates pitcher outside of the closer on your team.
No,
they're garbage. No. They're garbage. Yeah. Even I know that they're garbage.
No, it and that all varies too with the smaller. The smaller the league, there's gonna be a lot more guys on your waiver wire. The bigger the league, these guys are gonna be on your guys' teams no matter what. So it all varies on, the league size, what you're doing. And I know I'm not a roto guy. I stay away from all that roto stuff. Just not my cup of tea. I'm a head-to-head guy, and I've kind of getting the graphs on points, which is kind of fun. I kind of like the point aspects. So, I mean, I actually started a points league on Yahoo like a few days ago. So I'm trying to get that filled up on top of the nice 20-man I got going on. So we got like 13 guys right now. So yeah, it's coming along.
We got 7 more, he says. Damn it. Make it happen.
Right? That's for sure. But anyways, yes. I think that really concludes
the catalyst. Just take one.
Right? But yeah, I think that kind of concludes everything. But yeah, we got to get. So make sure you guys join our Discord. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on YouTube. That helps us, for people to start following us. Yes, and like us on Spotify, Google, and Apple. Follow us there. If you don't catch our live stream, we're always audio version. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps up everything, man. So, well, Dov and I will be back not this Sunday, next Sunday. Yep, next Sunday. Eli and I will figure out what we do on Tuesday, and we'll kind of go from there. So I think it's time.
By the time we're on again, I will have multiple drafts in the works.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Maybe completed. I don't know if I'll get to a bunch of slow drafts that are starting with 4-hour clocks. So,
that's gonna be crazy.
Some of them, maybe I'll even save a live pick.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll have to do that in kind of a PDF.
Lots of content.
Yeah, PDF form, which helps put it up on the screen and whatnot too. So we can kind of work on that too. So, but yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up. I know Donovan and I are in a different 20-man league. That draft is coming up March 9th. So we can talk about that after that effect. So yeah, there's quite a few things we can talk about. So yeah. So everybody enjoy your Thursday nights. Make sure I have everything. Yep. Before we get up out of here, I actually got to swap over to the other side here. So all that juicy, lovely stuff is on the other side here. So, all right. Boom. All right, everyone. All right, everybody. Right. All right, everyone. It's time for us. It's Skedaddle. I'm having issues tonight over here, not getting all my crap in tune. So, all right. I'm Jamie. That's Eli. Donovan. We're out of rhythm. So have a great Thursday. We are up out of here. Later.
Bye.